Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'm going to be talking about episode 2 of Emergence on ABC. So like I said in my review of the pilot, I've really enjoyed this show so far. I really enjoyed the mystery around Piper's character, her abilities, and Joe's motherly nature, and her kind of seeing herself in Piper. This episode continues that thread. We are starting to unravel where Piper came from, who are these people that are after her, and we have an introduction of a character who comes from whatever, company or government is trying to capture her. And you start to see there's a little bit of a dark side to Piper as well. Now, I like the balance that this show has struck when it comes to the mystery of Piper. I like that we don't really know who she is. We are being fed a little bit of information at a time. We don't fully understand what her powers do, and we don't know if she knows more than what she's letting on. She's a character that at the end of the day has a very dark tone to her, especially when she's alone. But when she's around other people, she's very loving, very kind, like a happy little girl. So I don't know what we're getting. I like that. I like the air of mystery with her. And that's mostly due to the pretty solid performance by the actress playing her. Again, I really like Joe in this episode. I really liked her in the first episode, and she's something that I feel is going to keep me coming back to this series. She gives another great performance in this one, and I just like her ability to give a lighthearted nature to some of the very serious events in the show, and her relationships with all the different characters feel very organic. She feels like a very lived-in character. She feels like someone that you can lash onto. She feels real. She doesn't feel like someone who's just written for a show. She has this strange balance of wanting to unravel the mystery herself, but then still protect her family. And I like the way that she's able to flip the switch on and off between when her daughter asks her what's going on, what's happening, and her family asks her what's happening. She's able to just kind of play it off, but then behind the scenes, she's doing her investigative work as a police officer. Her ex-husband, Alex, also has a little bit larger role in this episode, and I like that he seems to be the rational, skeptical person in the show. Him coming in and seeing Piper and being like, who is this girl and why are you protecting her? When Joe's a little more blinded by her emotions, she's a little more blinded by seeing, a girl who's struggling with family issues, like she had separation, like she had as a child, and kind of trying to be a mother to her, while Alex comes in and is like, this girl's got some weird things going on, some weird powers, maybe we should talk about this. And I like that separation between the blind loyalty and emotion of helping a child and being like, there's something going on here. So I like that kind of conflict between those two characters. A character that I'm not fully on board with yet, mostly because we haven't seen him enough, is Benny, the investigative journalist, who's there on a job trying to investigate what happened with the plane crash. And then you see at the end, Joe feeds him a little bit of information to maybe protect Piper in the long run. I don't really know what his purpose is as of right now. I feel like they're maybe going to push this as like a love triangle between him and Alex and Joe. I wouldn't like that, and I hope they don't go that direction. I also hope he's not just a plot device. He's not just someone who's there as, oh, I can get this information because I am an investigative journalist. I want a little more depth to his character. Maybe he's going to be in on it. Maybe he is a plant for this corporation or this government that's trying to figure out what's going on. I want to see interest. I'm right now I'm skeptical, but I'm interested to see how his character plays out. Also, like, the show has a little bit of horror elements to it. I didn't expect that. Like I said at the end of the first episode, when she removes the little tracking device that's behind her ear, that was very, horror-esque feeling. She cuts it open. There's a little bit of blood there. I didn't expect it. In this episode, you have a scene that goes on in an autopsy room where bodies are just melted. And I didn't expect that from a show, especially on ABC. And seeing that, I hope that the show will push the envelope just a little bit. I don't feel like it needs to be an over-the-top American Horror Story type show. It's striking an interesting balance between being a sci-fi thriller and a kind of a family show. So those two together could be an interesting blend if they can skirt that line and not tip too far to one side. And speaking of visuals and the horror visuals of the show, I think that they are using a pretty good balance of visual effects and keeping it kind of close to home and very practical. There's a scene involving a car that's magnetized. It's the car that Piper destroys in the first episode. And things are flying to it, sticking to it. Bullets are being shot off of it. Joe actually uses a hammer to smash a guy's head in with it. And I thought that was done really well. It didn't look cheesy. It didn't look like something off of a cheap budget sci-fi show. It felt like it had a little bit more production value behind it. So I'm hoping the show doesn't get too far into the realm of superhero powers and stuff and get kind of goofy and kind of ridiculous. I like that. I like that there's a mystery to it. They throw in these sci-fi elements to the show. While at the end of the day, it's still mostly focused on the characters. It's very character driven, not just what's going on with the weird elements of the show. So at the end of the day, I'm continuing to enjoy the show. I liked episode 2. I don't know if I liked it quite as much as episode 1, but they're pretty much on a similar level. I like where the show's going. I think all the performances are really solid, especially by Joe and Piper. I cannot wait to see how they end up playing the story out. It's progressing very rapidly, in my opinion, unless there's a wrench thrown into it. I mean, she's already kind of trying to put an idea out to the public of who Piper is. I feel like that's going to get stopped somehow, but I think the show is moving along really quickly. I don't know how many episodes the first season's going to be, but so far I'm enjoying it, and I can't wait to see more of this world and more of what's going on with this kind of shadow government organization, who these people are. The stranger that came into this episode, what's going to happen with him? He felt very strange. He didn't seem like he was a normal person. He had some very strange mannerisms and kind of the way he was speaking to people. So I don't know if maybe he is the same thing as Piper is, if he's an alien, if he's a robot, if he's just brainwashed, or maybe he's just a really generic villain character, but I don't know. I'm interested to see how it goes. Alright guys, so let me know what you thought about episode 2 of Emergence. Do you like it as much as I have so far? Put those comments down below. I always like this to be a conversation back and forth, and you are totally entitled to your opinion. If you absolutely hate the show, let me know. If you absolutely love the show, let me know. If you just don't care, let me know. I always like to see those comments down below, and see you guys next time.